You're listening to the Azreia Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from Azreia, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Hello, 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 Azreia family and our great people of the state of Arizona, and no matter wherever you are. We wanted to bring you a show today, a show that's unlike any other. We wanted to talk with Dean Leonard, who happens to be an Azreia member, and he's been doing some really phenomenal things in a short period of time. When I speak a short period of time, I'm still thinking, some years, not overnight, because we know that there's no overnight success that has any level of sustainability. So, Dean, I want to welcome you to the show, man, and I want you to give us and the listeners just a brief introduction of who you are, what you've been doing for the last few years, and then we'll jump right into the show and start asking you some questions, and you can let us know what you're doing in the real estate space.
Yeah, Marcus, thank you so much. I moved to Arizona from Wyoming in 1996 and started working at one of the local copper mines here, and always dreamed about doing real estate. And finally in 2011, I took the plunge and jumped in, and it's been going pretty good ever since.
So what made you, real quick, I know I wanted you to do the introduction, but what made you go from driving trucks at a copper mine to getting into real estate?
I was laying on the couch one night and 𝐊𝐞𝐲 come on with one of his commercials about no money down. And I started doing some research then, and the internet was just budding, and I'm pretty good at doing research, and took me quite a few years to get ready. But what I realized or found out that 80% of the millionaires in this country either hold their wealth in real estate or made their wealth in real estate. And I don't need to reinvent a wheel.
Gotcha.
Question. So when it comes to 𝐊𝐞𝐲, right, I have a lot of family members or uncles, they paid $5,000 for it, and it's all dusty in the attic, and they never even cracked it open. And people can be skeptical of those programs. So tell me about it. Like, well, how was your experience? It's real, obviously, right?
I never used 𝐊𝐞𝐲 stuff. I never bought it. I did the research.
Okay.
And I did buy a couple programs. One of them was like $2,700 and one of them was $1,000. But what I came to realize going through them programs, the stuff that I learned at Azreia in their, Alan has us coming up to Phoenix and spend 3 days for $70. I was getting all that information in a $2,000 program. So you don't need to spend a bunch of money, and the principles are all pretty much the same. It's getting up and moving and doing and talking to people. Alan says it all the time: network.
Okay. So Dean, tell us about your transition, because that's a big transition to say, I'm going to go from being a truck driver to getting into real estate. And you started the research. How long did it take for you to go from your initial foray into real estate or your initial research and then actually pulling the trigger to get into real estate?
About 6 years, because I was scared.
6 years because of fear. And the reason why I ask you that is because a lot of people, they sit on the sideline, based on that fear. And like you said, it took you 6 years to jump out there and get started. But once you got started, you started seeing some momentum and things started happening. And as people may not know right now, before we jumped on the show, you're actually at a home inspection right now. So you're actually out doing deals. You're actually out doing real estate. So what were some of those fears that you faced getting started?
I don't know where to get the money, because I was flat broke. My first deal, I borrowed every cent. And I mean, I made 200 offers before. It took me 6 years to make my first offer, and then it took me 199 more to get my first deal. And there was nobody there to mentor me or anything, and it was a real struggle. But after we got that first one clear through the first deal, I didn't start looking for my second one until I was all the way done with the first one. Then it took like 2 months to find another one. So Just
what would you say? What would you say to someone, Dean, that's in your same spot right now, a new member, maybe just, you know, wanting to had fear themselves. Maybe they've been wanting to invest for a year or two now themselves or longer. Once you got that first deal, I'm sure you look back and said, wow, right? Why did I wait so long? Right. Like, so what is some advice you would give someone in that position right now?
Find somebody that'll mentor you. There's mentors out there that like helping people, and they'll help you, you know, and it can cost you thousands or it can cost you nothing. And what you put in is what you get out. Team up with somebody, go find the deal. They got the money and the experience. They'll network, talk to people, and you're going to find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So networking is a major game changer. You got to get out there. You have to talk to people. And in that fear, you were able to get over it. So tell us about that first deal, Dean. You said that, you know what, you didn't have the money. You had to borrow every penny of it. So where did you end up coming up with the money in order to secure that first deal? And what did that first deal look like? Kind of walk us through it.
I bought a short sale. I paid $85,000 for it.
So let's give it some context. When was this, Dean?
2011, just Thanksgiving of 2011.
Okay, so Thanksgiving 2011 is when you got started.
Bottom of the market.
Pulling the trigger at the bottom of the market. Okay, all right. And then I know a lot of people during that time, they were actually scared and still sitting on the sideline because they were saying, well, what if I buy now and the market continued to dip? But you didn't have that fear. You said, you know what? Had other fears. I got over them. It's time to go.
Well, I got in and I got it at a low enough price where if I hurried up and finished it, I'd still make some money. And so it bottomed out, and I sold it for what I thought I would.
Okay.
And so I got that deal under contract, and then I had to go find the money, and I melted my phone. I called I mean everybody, and I got the notice. I had to go down to the title company and sign the docs, and I left work and I didn't have the money. And I was going down there to forfeit my girlfriend's $2,500 earnest money. And
wow.
As I pulled into the parking lot and shifted it into parking, oh my gosh, my phone rang, and I looked, and it's a buddy that I'd been calling, hey, help me get this money. And it came through. And man, I was so jazzed. And it was just, I don't think I'd have got that if I hadn't gotten my pickup and drove down. I had to be there. And when I got to where I was supposed to be, this sounds kind of woo-woo, but the universe helped me out and put it there. So we went in, we funded the property, and I was so jazzed. I drove over there and walked through this dump, and yeah, pretty nice. And I spent the next 3 months, day in and day out, over there doing a lot of the work myself. I would go to work 12 hours, get off, drive from where I worked to that property about 40 miles.
Wow.
And I'd work till midnight and go home and go to bed, and then I'd get up at 6 o'clock next morning and go to work. So that was my life for 3 months.
And I think you brought a good point up. That's a good lesson. Is you said you burned your phone, or you melted your phone, right? Yeah. You must have been making tons of calls, tons of action in order to get that deal done. And then that's what it takes and even like when we're cold calling or trying to call motivated sellers, it's like you might set a time to call for an hour or two, but it always happens. Like you're like, I haven't talked to nobody. You're frustrated. There's 10 minutes left to your allotted time that you gave yourself. And when you finish through those 10 minutes, you make those last few calls, you usually get an application of some sort. It's really funny how it works.
Well, one of the things that you said, Dean, even before, finding the money, you said, I put the property under contract and I'd have the money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, well, I can't get out here and do something and take action because I don't have the money. You said, besides me not having the money, I am going to get out here and take action. You borrowed the $2,500 earnest money from your girlfriend. You was calling your buddies, everyone you knew, to come up with the rest of the 85 grand. So you were walking by faith, man. And that's being an entrepreneur. A lot of times you have to do that. You can't see that you can see the goal, but you can't see every step along the way. And man, kudos for you for doing that.
That's great about real estate, because you're going shopping, right? It doesn't cost you anything to get a property under contract, right? You make the offer, you get your inspection period, you can put your deposit down, you'll get it back if you back out before the inspection is over. So it doesn't cost you anything to even get the contract. So go out there and get it. Did you have an inspection period on that deal?
I did. It was the standard real estate contract that was used.
Okay.
I had gotten a hold of the listing agent, and she got both sides of the transaction, which I'm sure she was thrilled at that time, because I mean, there were tons and tons of foreclosures out there.
So what was the exit on that property? What did you end up doing?
Fix and flip. It was fix and flip from the start. Now, looking back, I could have bought houses for $40,000 a piece. I'd love to have bought them and kept them, put them in a portfolio. And today, them same houses are worth $200,000.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah. So tell us, Dean, did you have a construction background?
No, redneck trailer house fixer.
Okay, so there you go, guys. If you're listening, look at all of the hurdles that Dean had to overcome. One was he didn't know anything about real estate. That was step one. Number two was he didn't have the money. Number three was he had no construction background. He's never done this before. So guys, as you listen to this podcast, as you listen to this interview, you can see that you can't allow excuses to get in your way. You have to overcome those excuses by taking action. So tell us, what was next, Dean? After you was going there, for the next 90 days, working on that house continuously, what were some of the thoughts that were going through your mind when you was working on that house?
God, will I ever finish this? I don't know how to do that. Let me find somebody. And Craigslist at the time was where I found some of the contractors. Did I use them more than once? Absolutely not.
Okay.
But I mean, I've still got the electrician that I found. He's still in my network. I refer him all the time. One of the home inspectors that I used at the time, he's still in my network. So you find good people along with not so good people sometimes.
And that's part of what goes on in the industry. You find a good contractor, you hold on to them. You gotta go the good with the bad sometimes. So let's do this. We talked about your first deal, Dean. We talked about where you got started and everything like that. Let's take a brief break. When we come back, I want you to share with people what was next and how you scaled your business and where you got the education in order to continue your business in the way in which it's going. So let's take a brief break. We'll hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back with Dean Leonard in Tucson.
A supporter of today's Azreia show is Azreia Business Associate, Boomerang Capital Partners. They're coined as the best flip and lender, providing financing solutions to help fund your next fix and flip project. For more information, visit boomerangcapital.com. Okay, guys, we are back. I have my co-host, Mike Delpreet, here, and we have Dean Leonard from Tucson, who is actually doing deals in the market. So Dean told us about him overcoming his fears and getting started. So Dean, tell us, where are you right now? What are you doing right now in your business? And what have you done since 2011 getting started?
Well, I'm a licensed real estate agent now. What I do in real estate is licensed business, provides a good income. But on the side, besides that, we run into deals. And just since January, me and my wife bought a 6-plex to keep. So there's 6 doors, and we're cash flowing that $1,500 a month. We got the owner to carry the note back. So that's some of the stuff I learned at Azreia. And then I went to a little town outside of the big metro areas, and I bought 3 single-family residences. They were $41,000 a piece. I sold one and carried the note back. I think it's going to be another flipper. So he's getting a hard money loan, and I'm getting 1 year's guaranteed interest and $20,000 for not doing anything. I've got another property that It's going into the portfolio. The rent on that's like $550 a month. I paid $41,000. Pretty good return.
Wow. When did you buy is that recently?
Yeah.
So 41,000. So where are you finding properties in Arizona at 41,000?
Gosh dang.
Yeah, you gotta let the secret out.
I'll tell you, it's 𝐿𝐴𝐿.
Okay, so what's the town like? Tell us about it.
It's an old abandoned copper mine that's an artist community. You guys know where Rocky Point is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to drive through 𝐿𝐴𝐿 to get there.
Ah, okay.
40 miles south of Gila Bend. These little towns, and that's something I learned from an Azreia, Larry Goins. Alan brought him to town. I went to his thing. He makes more money on a $40,000 property than most rehabbers make on a $200,000 property. And that's living proof, right? I just turned $20,000. I didn't do anything. The tenant cleaned that house out.
Wow.
And I turned around and resold it.
Wow.
And how'd you find it? Like what kind of marketing?
Networking. I knew an agent over there, and she knew three transactions were falling out of escrow, and we snapped them up.
Nice.
Wow. So tell us, Dean, real quick, because you glossed over something, and we want to make sure that everybody understands it. You said you bought a 6-plex, and the seller carried it. What does that mean for those that don't know? That
6-plex was almost $500,000, 480,000, something like that. And we had to come up with $50,000. So we put $50,000. They're being the bank and financing it for us. They're financing it at 7%. We've got to carry the note for 3 years before we can refinance it. We've guaranteed it. We got a prepayment penalty. They're guaranteed three years of interest.
Okay.
So they're making. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark.
So basically, you end up finding this property that was $500,000. You didn't have $500,000. You had $50,000. So the seller owned the property free and clear, and then they said, okay, well, you don't have the $500,000 or the $450,000 left over. He said he'll carry the note. He will be the bank. So guys, that shows you that there's some creative opportunities out there. And Mike, I know you do quite a bit of creative transactions. Anything you want to share in regards to that?
No, I'm very impressed. Did you offer a cash offer, like a super low cash offer, or you just were excited about the carryback and you just went with that? I
knew another agent that ran across the deal, and he couldn't take it down and asked me if I wanted it. And he told me about where it would sell, and he represented us. He made a little bit of a commission, but my God, we're making $1,500 a month for doing nothing.
So my question. So as investors, right? Sometimes when you're dealing maybe with a real estate agent that doesn't understand the creative strategies, when it was falling out of escrow, was it like a cash purchase or a bank purchase? And you came in, did you have to educate all the parties and say, hey, this is my offer. Hey, agent, this is how it works? Because sometimes you have to do that.
Sometimes you do, but this guy, and this one didn't fall out of escrow. This agent knows a lady that owns, I don't know, she's got 30 rentals within 17 minutes of her property. She won't drive over 17 minutes. And they're liquidating, they're older, they're starting to liquidate their portfolio. And he just bought one from them, and then they were selling this one. And he didn't want to buy this one and that one. So he told me about it, and we bought it.
That's great. Like, so for the listeners, a lot of things you touched there, Dean, is one, relationships with agents, right? That's a lead source. 2, tired landlord, right? They're winding down their estate. They have a lot of properties. I'm starting to find out a lot of times some of these tired landlords, their kids don't even want the properties for some reason. So, or they've been neglected. So, tired landlords, absentee owner kind of things. It sounds like that's the type of owner that it was that you acquired it from.
We've got some deferred maintenance, I guarantee you. It's still, it's a good property.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's great.
Well, you saw the opportunity. That was one of the main things. You saw the opportunity, help this seller. That's one. And then the opportunity for you guys to be able to make some money and really reposition that property.
It's building our net worth.
There you go. And that's what it's all about when it comes to being passive investors, is People want the passive income. We don't want to work. We want to get money without working. And real estate is a strong way in order for people to do that. So, Dean, since 2011 to 2017, I heard that you flipped like 30 houses.
Yeah, that's what we were doing, man. I thought I was going to light the world on fire.
Okay, so tell us about that. Tell us about why flipping.
Because it was, I had success on my first one, and we had pretty good success on my second one. So second, third, and fourth just came bang, bang, bang. And that fourth one, man, we made a lot of money on. And get going there, and we were buying them off of auction.com. We were buying them off 𝐊𝐞𝐲. We were getting calls from other agents. I was buying them off the MLS. It was easy to find them. I didn't have to go out and start really digging to find them. And so we're just humming along there, and pretty much as fast as I could finish.
What year was this roughly?
2012, 2013.
So if you're listening now, right, we're here in 2021, you're like auction.com, MLS, this, that. Like right now, you're probably like, whoa, what's going on? There's no properties out there whatsoever. So it's a unique situation. It seems like when the market was down and out, like we were saying, everyone runs, right? So there's tons of properties to choose from, but there's less buyers, right? Whereas right now, there's no properties to choose from, but there's no properties, but there's tons of buyers now. And it's interesting.
Then you had to really do a really nice job on the house to sell it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it had to be just knock your socks off. Now it's kind of lipstick on a pig. Okay. if that's the way you want your reputation or now. But we got going there, and then I got to be a smarty pants and didn't really do the research, or I missed a part of the research, and we bought a house. Man, the numbers were good. We got it for like 130,000, and the numbers said we could sell it for about 380. And I thought, well, if we were out 340, yeah, that'd be awesome. So we jumped on it and started working on it. We had to put almost $100,000 into that house, but still we were in it for 2 and could sell it for 340.
340.
One of the things that I didn't realize, it took a year to sell a house in that subdivision, even if it was all fixed up. So we had to sit on that house for a year with hard money. And so when we sold it, we lost about 50,000.
Wow. So you said you messed up on the research. So tell us some things that you do when you research a property. What should we look out for? And what did you miss on that time too? I'm curious.
Days on market.
Got it.
I'd have never bought that house if I'd have known it took a year to sell.
Got it.
Gotcha.
We bought it at Thanksgiving, finished it right at the end of the snowbird season, got it on the market in April. There wasn't nobody around to buy it, and we sold it the next winter.
Okay.
No.
So one of my questions, and you had really kind of answered it for me, was you finished that first one, and then you said you bought 2, then you bought another one and another one and another one. So were you using, part of your family's or your friends' money? Where did you get the money from? Because you closed just that one deal. So how did you take that one deal and spawn it into multiples?
So I took the money, the money I made off of that, and I was able to, I developed a relationship with the hard money lender, and I was able to take that and make the cash down payment. And then my girlfriend loaned me the fix-up money off her credit card.
Man, I need your girlfriend, Dean.
And then I met a guy up in Phoenix. He wanted to invest some money, so I gave him about 100% return on his money for helping me out.
Wow.
So that was that. And then another deal came along, and I met somebody at Azreia, said they'd team up with me and they'd fund the fix up and everything for a cut of the deal. And I did that. And I started getting a little bit, eventually I had enough money to take it down, do the down payment, borrow the hard money, and I had the fix up money in cash. That's the way it worked. after about deal number 6.
Cool.
Gotcha. So it don't take much. You know, the main thing is, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. The main thing is getting that first one done. You know, once you get that first one done, you have so much confidence because, like you said it yourself. You was ready to take on the world. You know, so guys listening, once you get that first one done, it becomes easier. You learn from your mistakes. You see what you did good. You see what you did bad, and you can kind of mitigate some of those mistakes and learn how to escalate, you know, your success basically. And that's exactly what Dean did. So Dean, it sounds like you were building your business with relationships. How are you finding these relationships?
Most of them were made during the power networking session here at Azreia, and we have I haves I wants thing, and so I was building if I was going to be a wholesaler, anybody that was a cash buyer, I wrote that down, and I still got that list today. Some of them folks might not be there, but they're in my database. So cash buyers, people that wanted to loan money, and just I met real estate agents there when I wasn't one and picked their brains. And the education that Alan brought into our Azreia or into Arizona, I attended a few of them, and I'm telling you, they didn't cost $1,000 bucks.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They didn't cost $2,000. They didn't cost $30,000.
No, I love that, Dean. The Phoenix, so everyone knows that I have sessions are at the Phoenix Real Estate Club every month. You know, there could be 50 to 100 people there, and what Alan does, everyone has the opportunity to take the microphone and say, I want a fix and flip property, 3-2, and maybe you could say like, hey, I have a property for sale or whatever it is. And then they put everyone's name and number and scenario on the screen, so you could take notes, and really you could just sit there and just connect the dots, you know, and try to make a check out of thin air. It's powerful. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Alan told me a story when I very first started about a guy that they knew in Azreia somewhere back east, but he was the one that connected the guy that wanted to find a property. He'd go network and talk and said, well, go talk to that guy over there. And I've been here in this Azreia for, I don't know, since about 2011. So I've been here a while. And I know most of the people that show up, and I know what they do.
Okay.
And going and meeting them, getting there early, talking to them, and dang sure the power networking and talking to them afterwards. That's the value of the meeting.
So let's do this real quick. Since we're talking about Azreia, when we come back, I want you to share some of your experiences with Azreia, like you've already had, Dean. But let's hear a brief word from our sponsors, and let's get our calendar update. So let's get our calendar update at this break, and then when we come back with Dean, we're going to talk about Azreia, some of the things that they provided for you, some of the things that you learned from Azreia, because it seems like your education really escalated once you became a member and once you started learning. So let's hear a brief break and hear from our calendar, and we'll be right back.
Here's a quick update on Azreia's upcoming events. The Tucson New Investor Subgroup is meeting August 2nd. The Prescott Subgroup is meeting August 3rd. There will be a live wholesaling Q&A on Facebook and Instagram August 4th. The Phoenix Monthly Meeting is on August 9th. The Tucson Monthly Meeting is on August 10th. The Beginning Investors Subgroup is on August 12th. And the Build Your Wholesale Business Step-by-Step class will be August 14th through the 15th. For more information and to register, visit azreia.org/calendar.
This episode of The Azreia Show is brought to you by Azreia Business Associate, 𝐤𝐤 Law Group. 𝐤𝐤 Law Group handles numerous real estate matters with a focus on landlord-tenant law in Arizona. For more information, visit their site at 𝐤𝐤.law.
Okay, we are back with Dean Leonard, who is a real estate agent, fix and flipper, landlord in the Tucson area. And we're talking about, you know, the power of relationships and the power of building your business. So Dean, answer this question for me. So you got started in 2011. Why did you see it was beneficial for you to become a member of Azreia?
That's where all the people of like mind gather there, and there's tons of resources. And I found hard money lenders in that meeting. I found properties in that meeting. I found people that could help me in my business in that meeting. And I used to go there and not want to tell anybody any secrets or anything that I was doing. And when I started sharing my knowledge, my income blew up. I started making a lot of money instead of just a little bit. It's that abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality.
So what kind of things did you share? Were you doing like just advice, coaching calls? What were you doing?
Where I was finding the properties, that would be a big one, because I would actually read the MLS listings, and it would say go to 𝐊𝐤𝐲, and you get on there, and it was one big national lender selling property. Man, I got to know that system pretty good. And when I get that email, I knew exactly what they needed. I remembered my wife one time said, "You bought a property?" I said, "If I got this, would I have the offer in for it?" I said, "You bet we got it." And it turned out to be pretty good. We bought that one for $50,000, sold it for $125,000 back then.
Wow.
Pretty good money.
Okay. So currently, Dean, I know that you're still participating in the Tucson meetings. Currently, what are you doing as far as real estate investing and in the real estate industry? We know that you're a realtor and you're actually, again, at a home inspection. So kind of give us an update before we end here today, and let us know what you're doing and how we can get in touch with you.
Trying to build my portfolio, really. And like I said, my biggest win this year was I told you about 3 houses I bought in a little town west of here. All of them were the same price. One of them's got a Section 8 tenant in it, and I knew it was under rented. I read the Section 8 rules. So I just raised the rent from $500 a month to $800, and they approved it, and the tenant's rent went down. So
wow.
Now I just spent $40,000 on that house, and I'm making $800 a month on it. So
that's
amazing.
That's good return. I wish I could do that all the time. But through Azreia, I'm carrying a note. I learned that at Azreia, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I really don't want to manage contractors, and I'm getting too old to be on my knees laying tile and stuff. That's for the young guys. But I will walk through a house with somebody and kind of give them an idea of what's going on. I know construction costs have went way up here recently. I used to be able to look at that and say, that's about this much. Now I probably have to double it. but still, you can get an idea of what construction costs are, you know. And
are you willing to do that with some members, maybe if they reached out to you in the Tucson area?
There's one lady that keeps calling me from Phoenix. I've been on the Azreia meetings in Phoenix. Another lady that I talked to in Sierra Vista, and there's all kinds of opportunities. You got Jack Bosch, he does nothing but land. He's got a really great system. You got Larry Goins, he doesn't come here, but that was one of the gems, the little cheap properties that you make pretty good money on. And that's kind of been what I've done quite a bit, because they're easy to do, really super easy.
So when you say easy to do cheap properties, are you meaning just going in like submarkets? And what do you mean by that? Like, what did you learn from him?
From Larry, the people live in towns, little towns that the big flippers don't want to go to. So there's no competition out there. And you can go out there and buy them properties. East of here, there's a little town. I went and bought a 1,300, or it was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was 1,600 square foot townhouse. I bought it for $20,000, turned around and sold it for $40,000, put about $5,000 into it. I'm carrying a note back at 7% for 20 years. And that's income. And I learned that at Azreia.
Yep.
You know, and I didn't do hardly any of the work. I just arranged for it now. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. A safe and habitable house, and I'll turn around and sell it and carry a note back. I'm the bank.
Sounds good. So guys, if you're out there, you're in the Tucson market, you're in the Phoenix market, anywhere in Arizona, and you want to get some more information from Dean on exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it, or if you need a quality realtor down in Tucson, you can reach out to Dean, and I'm sure that he will take care of you. So Dean, how can we reach out to you? How can we find
you? You can Google my name. You can call me on the phone. That's 520-260-0567. You can send me an email, and that's Dean@DeanLeonard, LEONARD.net.
All right. So guys, you hear it. You know how to get in contact with Dean. You know where to find him. We'll make sure we have all of that information in the show notes. Dean, we appreciate you coming on, man, and giving his feedback and letting people know exactly what you're doing and how, you know, just networking and relationship building can help build your business. So in parting, do you have any last words for, let's just say that real estate investor or wannabe real estate investor that's sitting on the couch and that's saying, you know what, I want to do this, but I don't have the money. I don't have contractors. I don't know how to do this. I don't. What would you tell that person?
Well, if you think it's hard, it is. If you think it's easy, it is. It's all a mindset. I would really encourage them to join Azreia because there is a great network there. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And that's the whole thing, right? And I'll guarantee you, if you go and the money you spend on Azreia, you should make back in the next year on something, even if it's buying and selling washers and dryers. You know, you hook up with somebody that wants a washer and dryer hauled out, you go and you turn around and sell it. That'll get your dues back.
There you go. So as you can see, it's very affordable and you learn a lot. So Dean, I really appreciate it. Mike, any parting words here?
No, I just wanted to, thank Dean for being on, and I look forward to, meeting you in person.
Perfect.
All right. So we appreciate it, Dean. Thank you so much. So our listeners here to the Azreia Show, thank you again for being here. We really appreciate you. If you're getting quality content, if you're really learning, make sure you give us a like, give us a share, put the content out there. That way we can know exactly what we're providing you is beneficial for you. So in parting, remember that Azreia is here for you. Only thing you need to do is go to Azreia.org.
Thanks for listening to the Azreia Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delprete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to Azreia.org and learn more about our community.